Hey guys, what's going on? Kevin Cage back with another cryptocurrency video. Today we are back addressing some XRP FUD for all you XRP investors. And for those of you that don't know, FUD is an acronym that stands for fear, uncertainty, and doubt. And within different groups that invest in different altcoins or Bitcoin, there's a lot of people that, I guess you could call them cults. So for me, I'm very biased towards Ripple XRP, Cardano ADA or ADA, and a few other altcoins that I see long-term potential with. My channel is primarily based on Ripple XRP because it has the highest number of developments, and I believe long-term will have the highest degree of upside. But I will be covering some other assets in the future. Regarding this, in the cost-cutting case for banks, Ripple's article, I did read through that a few weeks ago. So highly recommend checking that out to get a fundamental understanding of how Ripple, the company, works and how we will be utilizing XRP in cross-border payments. And so today I'll be sourcing David Schwartz, the CTO of Ripple, the private company, and addressing some FUD on FUDbingo.com. Sorry about that noise. So right here, Ripple wants to suppress the price, which is not in their best interest at all. This is all made up speculation and fear, and the company even addressed that this is ludicrous. So Ripple currently does influence the price. Every month, XRP is released from escrow, and I'm sorry if I butcher this, but the escrow amount is cryptographically locked up. You cannot change it. It is already set up, and some of it is sold on the markets, and this is basically to incentivize the growth of the XRP ecosystem. Some of the XRP is sold to market makers to encourage tighter spreads, and also to help different initiatives or incentives like Spring, which I already covered in another video. So without a doubt, Ripple's long-term goal is to make the price of XRP go up, while short and long-term, broad distribution of XRP is key. While the cost savings associated with using XRP for volatility are higher for banks during periods of lower XRP price volatility, they are still very significant even during periods of high volatility. And you have all the sources here if you ever want to check this website out. Ripple's goal is to increase the price of XRP through utility of the digital asset. They want it to be used as much as possible to increase the demand, hence increasing the value. This means advancing use cases that include usage of XRP for liquidity. If Ripple wants the cross-border use case with XRP to be successful, then a lower price for XRP is suicidal for the simple reason that 1, a lower price means that there's lower liquidity, which means higher volatility. And in the digital asset space, volatility, it's already pretty volatile and it already has a bad reputation for that. But what people don't actually understand, and I know a lot of people in the financial world are starting to understand, is using the Swift legacy system for remittance, say a 3-day transfer, is still way more volatile using fiat than it would be using a 3-second or 2-minute transfer utilizing XRP. So XRP would not only be cheaper, but still less volatile, meaning it's less subject to huge price swings and changes. All right, so logically speaking, if your XRP is not valuable enough to fund transactions on exchanges reliably because liquidity is low, then xrapid use case for XRP falls apart and will be taken over by the asset with better settlement time and liquidity. Obviously, between Bitcoin or Ethereum, Ethereum has better settlement time. And I know Bitcoin has the most volume. So you could argue it has a lot of liquidity, but if Ethereum gets a lot of smart contracts, it'll have more liquidity potentially. But at this time, I'm not fairly confident, extremely confident in XRP producing just because of proof of consensus. Sorry, I'm going on a rant here, but basically it's completely superior in every way compared to proof of work in their algorithm. It doesn't utilize as much electricity and so on, and it's decentralized. So trying to reduce XRP price is basically trying to kill the Ripple use case because the bridge asset use case is lost to Ethereum or Bitcoin due to having better liquidity, and Nostra Vostra use case is lost due to high volatility. So for example, if you want to move $5 trillion a day, and that is the typical daily volumes for Swift, then you'd need the individual tokens to have a high value, or you need all of the tokens for every transaction, which is not going to happen because there's going to be market makers, there's going to be exchanges holding massive amounts. Oh, sorry, my puppy's coming up by me. So if I want to move $100 billion and the price of XRP is only $1, I'd need more than 99,992,740,753 XRP total supply. For those that still doubt, consider these facts. Ripple has publicly stated that they do not manipulate price. Of course, this was a lot of silly fear years ago. Founders of Ripple already own a significant amount of XRP, and this is well known, so it's in their best interest to see XRP grow in value. Ripple's value as a company is significantly affected by XRP price, and that is, even if they pretend it isn't. And the CEO of Ripple owns a large amount of XRP, that's already known, and during 2017, there were many instances of volatile rallies of XRP price. XRP was the biggest crypto gainer in 2017, well over, I believe, 30,000%, despite a lot of the newcomers that call it a stable coin, even though if you were around when it was half a penny, you would say otherwise. And I believe we're going to see another rally that is going to outgain any other asset in the space, thanks to utility. We may have additional speculation bull runs, but long term, utility is what will keep these assets alive and is what will keep your investment alive. So currently, there's very little volatility risk for those institutions that choose to use XRP for liquidity. XRapid is currently configured to dynamically source liquidity by not requiring organizations to hold on to XRP. So they're not requiring organizations to hold on to XRP. However, instead of having massive Nostro and Vostro accounts in different countries with respondent and correspondent banks, it's going to be in their best interest to actually still hold a portion of XRP. They won't have to hold the same amount regardless, though. And they're going to be custodying these assets, as Brad Garlinghouse, CEO of Ripple, has said by end of 2019. So for those banks and FIs that eventually choose to replace their Nostro account holdings with XRP, however, Ripple is in the midst of, I've already said this, of creating custody solutions with their business partners. In addition, banks and other financial institutions can hedge their positions using traditional future markets such as CME Group and crypto facilities. All right, and then right here, I want to touch on this briefly. David Schwartz, CTO of Ripple, just talking about a higher price of XRP would help Ripple in explaining the use case and why it's in their best interest as well. Basically, and I've already covered this in a video, probably last fall, and I'm sorry about my puppy walking by me, it was kind of noisy, but it is also important that it is not terribly expensive to hold XRP. A higher price will mean that a similarly sized cell will produce less volatility, so a higher price could mean a lower cost to hold XRP. So long as XRP's general price direction is up, slow but steady, the volatility can be hedged without much difficulty. When Bitcoin sold for only $1, you couldn't really utilize it. You couldn't really use them to buy or sell a house. An example, an asset that is very expensive. You can now. Bigger transactions require bigger value. Now that Bitcoin is, roughly $11,000, you don't need as many to purchase a home or a large valuable asset. The higher the price of XRP, the larger the payments Ripple can target. And FYI, $5 trillion in daily volume for Swift alone is plenty. And again, you've already seen the connections with the derivatives market, the DTCC, the giant clearinghouse. You can argue all of the derivatives and private equities of over $1 quadrillion are moved on an annual basis. I'm not trying to speculate too much and be too hypeful, but I just want you to know that there is more than enough money in the world. So bigger transactions require bigger value. The higher the price of XRP, the larger payments Ripple can target. When you're expecting exponential growth, even a small increase in your starting point can pay huge dividends down the line. And again, in the previous video, I re-emphasize that JP Morgan study, when there is a $300 billion market cap for the cryptocurrency market, there was only a total net inflow of $6 billion in that market. Market capitalization doesn't matter. I have probably 5 people on every video comment and say that I'm crazy because the market cap would be too large. Please do your own research. And I hope I didn't sound arrogant saying that. I just want to keep addressing this and showing all the newcomers in the space so you have an opportunity. So again, guys, with that, let me know your thoughts down below. Hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and until next time.